Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here, to speak in front of you. And thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to present University of the People. Africa's economic outlook is bright. Five of the world's top 10 countries in GDP growth are in the region. With foreign direct investment up, inflation slowed, and growth is at all record level. Higher education in Africa is booming too. In sub-Saharan Africa, between 2000 and 2010, enrollment more than doubled, increasing from 2.3 million to 5.2 million. This is great news. Thank you. Sorry. This is great news because the African economy cannot grow and sustain without enough academics to drive the continent forward. But is this great growth enough? In 2010, the population at the age of between 18 to 23 in sub-Saharan Africa was 100 million. This figure is projected to grow by more than 50% in 2030. Even if the recent rate of higher education expansion are maintained for the next 2 decades, millions of qualified students will not have room in the existing universities. It is a very widespread phenomenon, well-known phenomenon. Students graduate high school, take a placement exam, qualified for a university education. However, there are no seats for them. They are left behind. They take a placement exam, they pass it, and they still left out, simply because there isn't enough room for all the qualified students. This phenomena is just going to continue to grow. No way that countries will be able to bridge the gap. No way that countries will be able to invest the billions that are needed in order to accommodate all the deserved students. And remember, without accommodating these students, this is a lost generation, and this is a great loss, not only for them, for their families, but also for their countries and for the entire continent. But there is even a greater concern: employability. Many of those who graduate the current system in Africa, and it's actually not only in Africa, but we're talking now about Africa, many of those who graduate from the higher education system are not necessarily qualified for the job market. While employers are generally satisfied with the disciplinary knowledge of the students, they perceive significant gap in the graduate IT skills, personal qualities, and transferable skills such as team working and problem solving. And let's take one example, South Africa. Here is an example to illustrate the gap. There are 477,000 job vacancies waiting for people to fill them. In Africa, close to 500,000 jobs are waiting for university graduates to fill them. But at the same time, there are 344,000 unemployed graduates with degrees, diploma, and certificates. The skills that the higher education institution provide are not being created according to the demand of the job market. So basically there are two major challenges for the higher education: the accessibility and the employability. Opening the gates of higher education for all qualified students, but after we do that, making sure that the education that they get is relevant for the job market. This problem is huge, and without solving it, the continent cannot make the great leap it hopes to do to catch up with the developed world. So the two central questions are: will Africa education system be able to produce the numbers of graduates the economy need in the next few years? And will the graduates have the sufficient skills to be successfully employed in the modern corporate? But the solution does exist. By using technology and best practice, these two major challenges can be addressed. And these challenges are exactly what University of the People addresses. University of the People, the first ever non-profit, tuition-free, accredited American online university, opening access to every qualified student. By using technology to bridge the gap of accessibility and employability, supplying quality education, workplace-focused skills, and create graduate ready for the employment market. You people open the gates. Everyone with high school diploma and sufficient level of English can study. Like the leapfrog of cell phones, which make obsolete the need for people to have landlines and make connectivity accessible to everyone without the need for infrastructure investment, online education can bring alignment to everyone without the need to spend billions on building physical universities. And this is exactly what University of the People does. Your people only teaches business administration and computer science. The two degrees that are most in demand worldwide, the two degrees that are likeliest to help our students find a job, the two degrees that are most likely will help the economies of their countries to make a great leap forward. Since many of our students need personalized attention, every time they take a course, they are being put in a small virtual classes of 20 to 30 students to ensure that those who need personalized attention get it. Every time students take a class, as I said, they are being put in a virtual class of 20 to 30 students, but moreover, with 20 to 30 students from 20 to 30 different countries. Every time they take a class, 20 to 30 new students from 20 to 30 new countries. By this, we make sure that we expose them to different cultures, we open their mind, we create a shift in attitude, we make them part of the global village, very relevant to the job hopefully they will achieve working in international companies. For every 20 to 30 students, there is an instructor who is there to guide them, answer questions, and correct mistakes. It is very intensive studies. For those of you who have not experienced online studies, you're more than welcome. We have about 10 of our University of the People students in the room and will be here today and tomorrow. You are more than welcome to ask them and share. I'm sure they will be happy to share their experience with you. It's a very intensive studies, much harder than study in a traditional classroom. It's not a situation where you sit back, listen to the professor, maybe fall asleep, maybe take notes, maybe take your friend's notes. No, you have to be active, you have to be involved in the discussion. If you are not, from our perspective, you are not there, and you're very likely to fail the class because part of your grade is your participation in the class discussion. Every week, the students interact with each other. They spend about 15 hours a week per course that they take. They interact with their peers. They read the material. They hand in their assignment. They take a quiz and go to the next week. Every course is 9 weeks long. By the end of the course, they take a final exam, get a grade, and move to the next course. The final exam, many of them are proctored, and in a way, it's a very regular American university with a regular curriculum, regular requirement. Students need to maintain average grade point. They get a grade, and they need to proceed with good grades in order to proceed. Your people teaches its students the skill that they need for the employment market. And while they're studying with your people, they are offered mentorship, internship to prepare them for the job market. And while studying, the students enjoy the services of a career service center where they are prepared to be ready for the day after graduation for the job market. The Career Service Center provides the students help with the resume building, job research skills, interview techniques, as well as career services. The idea is, again, to give an opportunity to every student who have no other opportunity in many cases, to open the gates for them as long as they're qualified, but at the same time to take them all the way and prepare them for the job market. We open the gates to every qualified students. Our ability to offer all this, to name just only a few of our volunteers. Our provost is from Columbia University, and so is our vice provost. Our deans, all of them, are from NYU. Our top academic leaders are coming from top universities from all over the world, from the United States to South Africa, from the UK to Nigeria. 3,000 professors jumped on board, came to us to offer their help to achieve our mission. Our innovation to use volunteers cut the cost of higher education because, as you all know, the most expensive item on every university budget is the professors. We don't have this cost, which enable us to be tuition free. And all these great volunteers are not alone. We are partners with Yale Law School for research, with NYU to accept our best students to continue their studies in NYU Abu Dhabi with generous scholarship. We have a student who joined University of the People after the earthquake in Haiti, a great student who performed extremely well and as a result being accepted to NYU Abu Dhabi. So from living in a hut following the earthquake in Haiti, now is in one of the most selective universities in the world in Haiti, in Abu Dhabi, NYU Abu Dhabi, and the same goes to one of our students, a woman from Afghanistan. And we become affiliated with the UN, the CGI, UNESCO, Ashoka, UNHCR, and many others. We are operated on with a relatively small team located all over the world. In the US, in Africa, actually we have people who are with us from South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, and a few other countries, in Europe, in the Middle East, and Asia. We also make sure to offer jobs, when relevant, to our own graduates. We believe that we are creating an ecosystem, and we hope that our graduates will be the drive of the university moving forward. Actually, we just recently hired 4 of our graduates from Africa. We have created an ecosystem where our graduates are employed by us to help other applicants become students and fulfill their career potential once they graduate. We have a very unique financial model. I mentioned we are tuition free. However, we are not free. We are tuition free, we are not free. We expect our students to pay $100 per end of course exam. So they take the courses for free. However, when they get to the exam, we expect them to pay $100 as an exam processing fee. To make it clear, a student who study full-time pays about $1,000 a year, and a full BA over 4 years or as many years as it takes them, and for many of our students it takes more than 4 years because many of them work while they're studying with us, it is $4,000 for the entire degree. For those who cannot afford even this small amount, we work very hard to offer them scholarships. It is our mission that nobody would be left behind for financial reasons. For that reason, we work very hard to ensure that we have enough scholarships for those who cannot afford this amount. Remember, because of our delivery, there are no limits of seats in our university. We can accommodate any number of students. UNESCO stated that in 2025, in 10 years from now, there will be 100 million students around the world who will not have seats in the then existing universities. 100 million students will be deprived for higher education, not because they are not qualified, simply because there will not be seats available for them. So we are paving the way. And while we open the gates to every qualified student, we also ensure that those who met our high academic standards will be ready for the 21st century. We can accommodate any number of students. But what it is important is that we're building a model. We're building a model to show universities and governments that higher education can be accessible and affordable for all. First of all, we go to universities and say, now you have 10,000 students, 20,000 students, maybe 30,000 students. But why not add 0 to your numbers and have 200,000 students, 300,000 students? If we can do it, you definitely can do it. All what we do is actually taking what you have in-house and create online tuition-free university out of it. So you can do it as well. Now, a lot of universities don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because it's disruptive, because it's threatening, because it's a different model, because they want to be selective. You know, some universities build a reputation by closing the gates and having only a few students there. And it's prestigious to get in. And we're saying, well, if that's what you want to do, it's okay. But at least we put a mirror in front of them and say that that's the reason that you don't want to take more students. It's not because you can't, because if we can, you can definitely do that. But there is even more important message, and it is for developing countries' governments. And look at the government of your own country, and many countries that you know. They take the few millions that they have, and they're building their new university, which is supposed to be maybe Harvard, maybe Sorbonne, maybe Oxford. Well, a few years go by, and it's not Harvard, nor Sorbonne or Oxford, because you don't build this institution in a few years, nor with a few millions. But the money is gone. And what we say, look at us. We give you a solution to educate every single qualified student in your country. And think what a great leap it will be for any country if all its high school graduates will have a chance for a quality higher education. What a great future these students will have. What a great leap it will be for their country, for this country, and for the entire continent. And we're saying, look at us. We're willing to do it for you. We're willing to show you how to do it. Or you know what? Don't talk to us. Just look at what we're doing. We are transparent. We are not for profit. See what we do and do the same. But think about what future it will have for your citizens, for your students, for your country, and for the entire continent. So, this is University of the People. And just imagine if the gates will be open, what future the youth of the continent will have. Imagine the effect on their countries, and imagine the effect on the entire continent. Thank you very much.